Thank you very much. Uh, Dr. Tony Devine, who is the Vice President of Education, Global Peace Education, Mr. Juma Homondi, the team that is here, including our friend Mudeu Kasanga, whom I worked with in some other assignment, Professor Mutisha, I think was just stepped out. The partners who are here, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Or is afternoon? It's still morning. Well, it's afternoon, so good afternoon. My name is Sugut William, the Director of Education at the Ministry Headquarters, and I've come to represent the Principal Secretary Basic Education, Dr. Belio Kipsang. The PS wanted to be here with you, but because of commitments, he asked me to represent him in this particular conference. And therefore, I will be able to do exactly that. It is a pleasure being here. And I will go to his speech. In the process, I will also be making one or two remarks as I go through the speech. So first and foremost, I wish to really thank you because of the invitation of the peers to this particular function, which in itself is very important. It is therefore my honor and privilege to speak at the second edition of the Transforming Education Summit, organized by the Global Peace Education Kenya in collaboration with the Standard Group, PLC. I also wish to take this opportunity to recognize the Oracle Academy, Kesho Kenya, UNICAF, Kenya EdTech East Africa, World Vision Kenya, Bridge International Academies, and I choose Live Africa, I think led by Michael here, for partnering with the organizers to make this event a success. I am impressed by your dedication and commitment in the role you have continued to play in transforming education in Kenya. The Ministry of Education is familiar with the good work that the Global Peace Education Foundation is doing in Kenya in the sector of education. And I take cognizance of their innovative programs in education, such as the Great Places to School Initiative, Transforming Education Initiative, Character and Creativity, and the Lib Hubs initiatives. These programs are key in realizing education outcomes with regard to issues of transition, access, sustainability, not to mention even issues of retention. Remember, as a country, we are very keen on issues of access, issues of retention, issues of transition, and that is why more often than not you see even our field officers, both from the Ministry of Education and from the Ministry of Interior, mop up children to ensure that they are in school. Because we insist on 100% transition from grade 6 to grade 7 now, and from class 8 to Form 1, because we know that education is very important for them to be able to change their lives in this country. The Global Peace Foundation, Kenya's commitment to education as a tool for peace building demonstrates that education remains the most powerful weapon for sustainable peace and development. And therefore, what we are saying is, it is important for us to be able, therefore, to take this and capture what it is that is important for us to do, so that our institutions of basic education, for that instance, are peaceful, so as to be able to benefit out of the programs that are being put in place by government. The Standard Group, on its part, has spearheaded the newspaper in education program, which encourages a reading culture among our students. And I'm grateful to their continued support of education initiatives such as this one. Foundation, the Global Peace Foundation Kenya has impacted over 50,000 learners from 50 schools across the 47 counties. The Ministry of Education, therefore, through the Directorate of Quality Assurance and Standards, establish quality standards in basic education institutions, and therefore it's our belief that the partners, work closely with the Directorate to be able to ensure that the standards are maintained in basic education institutions, and particularly as you give your support. Transforming education initiative, character and creativity initiatives, and the LEAP hubs are innovations or innovative ways of encouraging our schools to willingly comply with such standards. The ministry, therefore, welcomes collaborations from the academia, our other colleagues in government, the private sector, and civil society in promoting the realization of the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 on promoting quality and inclusive education. And then, of course, as you are all aware, it is important for us to understand that we are also very keen on Vision 2030. Under the 3 pillars, the social pillar is very critical on education and training. And unless we take care of our youth in terms of education, it will be very difficult to be able to achieve what it is that we are planning to achieve. Because as my brother, Dr. Tony, has said, the youth is a very vital resource for us as a country. It is therefore important for us also to understand that with regard to quality assurance, we need to understand that currently we are moving to an institutional-based quality assurance where we want to empower institutions to be able to ensure that they are able to maintain the standards on their own and support themselves. In this regard, the Ministry of Education will continue to collaborate with the private sector partners who have demonstrated passion for transforming education for the sake of our children. I would wish to call upon all the organizers of this summit to work closely with our various directorates in the ministry so as to be able to achieve that target. I think we have been able to exchange cards with a number of partners here, and we want to believe that our collaboration will not end in this conference. We should be able to get in touch thereafter and see what it is that we need to do. I wish to shed a bit of light on where we are now, particularly knowing that we are now on the competency-based curriculum. Somebody has taken us through the memory lane, and you understand that as a country, we came from the 7423 system, we went to 844, and we are now on 2663 system of education, where the learners will spend 2 years in pre-primary, they will spend 6 years in primary, spend 3 years in junior school, and 3 years in senior school, before transiting to the university for 3 years, depending on the course that they are pursuing. The vision of CBC, which is a competency-based curriculum, is to be able to come up with a citizenry that is engaged, empowered, and ethical. If you like, you can call them the 3 E's. That is engaged, empowered, and ethical. And I think there is an aspect that Dr. Tony did emphasize on the ethical part. It is not enough to be engaged, it is not enough to be empowered. It is also more important to be ethical in what it is that we will do. CBC typically encourages that we nurture every learner's potential. We believe strongly that every learner has a talent, has a potential, and therefore the responsibility of those of us who are in education, those of us who are in teaching, and the various partners who are adults is to be able to nurture, to identify and nurture the talent of every child, so that we do not have situations where children move to courses for the sake of their parents. So if a child is going to please the parent because the parent has dictated that they are supposed to be able to do a course for them, then you will get to a situation where you are paying fees twice. You pay for yourself, for the child to get your certificate in medicine, and you pay for the child to to be able to do a course in tourism, for instance. In that case, it is also important for us to understand that under CBC, there are certain competencies that we do expect the children to be able to gain, irrespective of the pathway they would wish to take. In that case, then, we do emphasize communication and collaboration, which is very, very important. We also emphasize critical thinking and problem solving. It is important for us to understand that imagination and creativity is a very important competency that we expect children to gain. Citizenship is very important. And I think this is where we need to put a lot of emphasis. And I'm mentioning all this because we do expect our partners, therefore, to be able to look at what it is that we are talking about so that you can be able to loop yourself into a relevant section on what it is that you do so that we do not have duplications in the process. You know, the challenge has been in the past where if a farmer grows beans, because beans has a lot of market in some place, everybody in that village grows beans. So we would want to let you know that it's important to look at that. So citizenship is something key to us. Learning to learn, so that we do not just need to go the traditional way, that the teacher is the only source of knowledge. We are talking about learning to learn. Self-efficacy is also very, very important. The ability for the children to know that it is their abilities that can take them to various levels. They are in charge of shaping their destiny, and therefore they need to be guided. And therefore digital literacy, again, is an area that is very, very important, and that we need, therefore, to be able to look at that. As we work on this and look at the curriculum that is in place, it is also important for our partners to understand that there is still a fertile ground with regard to issues of performing arts. Currently, we are offering a curriculum where the teachers of performing arts are very few. Issues of visual arts, issues of music, issues of home science, computer science, the foreign languages, issues of French, German, and all that. So it's important so that we are able to understand what it is that is happening and therefore know what it is that we need to intervene in. And character development, of course, is very, very important. That's why I've talked about citizenship for a while. We are living in a competitive world that is rapidly changing. It is therefore essential for educators to be in touch with the knowledge of the current occasion so that we can be able to furnish the learners with relevant skills and knowledge required in the 21st century. I think Dr. Sonia has already given us an illustration of what we are doing. And at times the question is, are we teaching ourselves or we are teaching the children? What is it that we want to show them? The problem is using ourselves as a marking scheme of what the children's potential can be able to attain. The fact that a parent did not become a medical doctor is not enough reason to force your child to medicine, because you want to fulfill your dreams in the child. But what are the dreams of that particular child? Since the vision cannot be left to the government alone, I call upon each of us to play our part as parents and educators to provide a safe, positive, inclusive, and empowering environment for our youth to be able to blossom. With initiatives like the transforming education that we have today, non-state actors complement government's efforts in advancing education. As we do this, ladies and gentlemen, it is also important for us that we, as we understand issues of inclusive education, let us move from what we have seen in the past and even think about the gifted and talented. Where do we place them? I don't know among the partners whether there is somebody who is working on the gifted and talented. I choose Africa. Where are you? He is coming. Any partner handling the gifted and talented? Eh? Yeah. You are there? Can we be able to listen to you next week at the ministry headquarters? Yeah, we really want to understand what it is that you do so that we can see how to support you, because that's an area that we have always neglected. Because what is there is the partnership that we need to see. And when you come and we ask you very difficult questions, it is because we want to build you. It is not to discourage. So you are not coming for an interview. but we want to really exchange ideas and see what it is that we can do so that we are able to work on this together and be able to do well. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, being here should be able to create an impetus for us to be able to ensure that education provides solutions to issues that we have had in life. The more reason why people go to school is to be able to offer solutions to societal problems that otherwise would not have been solved if people had not achieved education. Therefore, on behalf of the Ministry of Education, I would like to thank all the Global Peace Education Foundation and other partners for making this event a success and for supporting government efforts in promoting quality and inclusive education. It is therefore my pleasure and privilege to declare this 2023 conference officially opened.